What's going on, everyone? My name is Sherwin, and today we are with Kobe, aka SmidgeLife, in his R1T studios for an EV Confessions. This is the first Rivian on the EV Confession series, and I'm glad Kobe is able to join us for just a couple of questions here and there, talking about how he got into the Rivians and stuff. So how's it going, Kobe?
It's going well. Thank you, by the way. This is an honor, as usual.
We finally caught up with each other. The last time we saw each other was at Joshua Tree.
That's right. It's been a minute.
And we've been trying to just run into each other in several different events and stuff. And just time is a resource that's fairly expensive.
It is. Between work and life and everything else, it's hard to fit this in, but I'm so glad we do, though.
Yes. So I'm glad I got to run into him, and I'm like, dude, we got to do an EV Confessions because, man, I need a Rivian in the EV Confession series. So here we are, R1T Gen 2.
Yep.
What is the official color for the blue? What is it? Is it like Rivian blue still? Or?
I think it is Rivian blue. Yeah,
Rivian,
it is.
Because it is a different shade from Gen 1 and Gen 2, slightly.
Yeah, I don't know the Gen 1. I've only seen Gen 2 options because when I started looking, that's all that was available. But my wife really wanted something more color. I think when people look now, you'll notice that most of the color schemes on the site, they were in the either from black to gray. There's like a spectrum of gray, it felt like. But at the time we were buying, it was really the ones that had color, you would say, would be blue, or the blue. The green is a bit dark. And then you had the silvers, which is kind of like still black. But we ended up wanting the blue, and you had red, right?
Yes, the red. That's my favorite.
Now, the red, I know, that's actually what I wanted for the demo unit. I thought that was really nice. But my wife didn't really like that as much, so we settled. You make compromise, and we ended up with the blue, which I'm very happy with.
And so this is a standard pack, dual motor.
Correct.
With all-terrain wheels and tires. 20-inch or 22?
20-inch.
20-inch.
Yeah.
And with the premium audio upgrade?
Yes.
And,
Rivian's audio.
Great. So, and I think you said you picked this up November. So you are
Correct.
4 months, 5 months?
Yes.
Nice. So what did you have? So this is your first EV?
And it's not technically my first one. The first one that's this nice. I'll say that. My first one, for those of you that had them, shout out to you, the Chevy Spark EV. I actually had a Chevy Spark
I didn't know the Spark had an EV.
And you want to talk about range anxiety, it's funny. But at the time you kind of just, you fall into the distance that it will do. And it actually worked great around town. Maximum was like 88 miles. It's hard to believe that's a car that's an EV.
Not even over 100. It's double digits.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but we actually, one time we took it up to Malibu. Like, it worked. Like, it all worked. The regen was amazing on that thing. But it's super torquey. The only thing we ever needed to replace were the front tires because it's so much torque. But that was my first one.
Oh.
This is our second and the nicest second I've ever had.
So prior to an EV, what cars did you have? Gas cars.
I've had, when I lived down in San Diego and I was doing great consulting, I had a Porsche.
Oh, which one?
A cabriolet, like a 1985.
Oh, wow.
It was really kind of more classic even for then.
Wow.
That was really cool. So I've owned Porsches, Mustangs. I've had Mustangs, Toyota Supra Turbo.
Oh my goodness, man.
That was addictive. I was a half a point away from losing my license at the age of like 20, was I 29? And that was just way too much fun.
Yes.
So I've had a lot of good performance vehicles, and I've had some that are maybe not as performance, but those are the really iconic ones that I really enjoyed, especially the Toyota Supra Turbo. That thing.
What year was that?
1989.
Wow.
Yeah, that was just a lot
of fun.
It's a little bigger profile.
Is that the one that looks like a Celica but just wider?
Yes. It had a wider footprint to it. but it was so fast. And I modified it, like, again, not knowing what to do with money. Apparently that was a very intelligent thing. But I spent a lot of money upgrading the exhaust, the suspension, turbo, like all that stuff. Just
Do you have any of those cars still in the garage?
no, I don't. Yeah.
And then you jumped
Kids
into the Spark. Then you jumped into the Spark.
A Spark EV, little. But you know, it was fun. I still love that car. If I reflect back, I still really like that car. And I think for anybody looking for an EV that's cheaper, you can pick those things up for probably under 10 easy.
Yeah.
And if you just wanted to do around town, excuse me, it was a really good vehicle. So I really did enjoy that one.
So out of the Porsche, the Mustang, the Supra, which one would you say is the, like, let's say you had all three at the same time.
Yeah.
Which one would you jump into?
The Toyota Supra, because it's funny. When I had the Porsche in San Diego, my dad came down to visit me one time, and he's like, "Oh, this is nice." And then because he owned many Porsches prior, and he got in it, and he could drive that thing better than I could. Mm. I'm like, how is he? Because one thing interesting, the clutch actually goes. It starts up and then goes down into the floor. It's a weird effect.
Like a weird angle or something.
Yeah, it's a weird angle. It doesn't go up and back. Like most clutches go up and back. This one was like starts up and then goes down into the floor. And that to me was weird. So I could never get used to it. But the Supra Turbo, it was just phenomenal. Just so much fun to drive. The Japanese car, I mean, it just really just is so dialed in tight.
That's awesome, man. So then now you have a Rivian R1T. And by the way, he has a channel, so make sure you subscribe.
SmidgeLife.
SmidgeLife. You recently also bought a Ford C-Max.
Yes,
Yeah.
for my daughter.
Check out that video. He got it from Carvana, and he shared the experience with buying from Carvana. It was very interesting because previously I did check out Carvana because I thought I was going to get rid of my R1T. So thankfully I was able to keep it. But very, very cool video because he explains the experience from buying from Carvana. So 4 or 5 months into this R1T, have you gone to any road trips or anything like that with the R1T?
We've taken it off-road a couple times. This is my first event that we're at here today that I've actually been with, like the San Gabriel Rivian Club. But, you know, we've had other things. We went skiing. I didn't take it with us skiing because I didn't have time to get, like, you know, just in case we needed chains for the tires, things like that. So we're going to get there. We just haven't quite done as many events as we have.
What did you end up bringing? What did you end up bringing?
We had a Jeep Renegade.
Oh, okay. So you also have a Jeep and this.
A Jeep Renegade. But we then traded the Jeep Renegade in for the Ford C-Max.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So now we don't even have that. So this is our only like real four-wheel drive or, you know, all-wheel drive vehicle.
Yeah, I seen some of your videos. You went to like Big Bear, and then around your area there's some trails.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Apple Valley has a ton of trails.
Yes.
Like there's all kinds of, like, you know, one of these days we got to get you up there too.
Yes.
I want to see that Cybertruck.
Being that this is your second EV, 4 months in, what would you say is one thing you love about EV ownership or Rivian?
Well, for me, from an EV perspective, what I love is that it's not complex. The engines, you never need to touch them generally, except for maybe a Cybertruck. Just kidding. A little too soon.
Pew, pew, pew.
But no, but generally it's just so maintenance free. And what's really nice too, like you have that at home too, when you can have a charger at home.
Yeah. And
we're lucky enough to have that. You know, it's just magical. You plug it in at night, and then the next day you've got, you know, more fuel in the tank, if you will. So I just love, it's quiet. It's super fast. It's faster than most performance cars can be, you know, unless you spend like crazy money. But I think to me, that's what I love the most. And what Rivian, actually, I reserved a Cybertruck. But when it came down to buying it at the time, and this was before, you know, any of the news and stuff that has gone on, it was kind of my wife just didn't like the angles. And again, we kind of compromised. And so for me, it was like, you know, but once I got deeper into the Rivian and I didn't know as much about it, I really liked what it stood for. And I liked just the overall vibe. And I think the marketing, they work really hard on marketing this not in a bad way, like in a positive way. Like it's an adventure vehicle, it's outdoor. They really promote that. I think that's what really made me gravitate to this brand and the truck.
Yeah, there's a lot less maintenance. There's no oil change. I mean, you have to do like the tire rotation, which any vehicle you need to do that. But I have already needed to refill my windshield wiper fluid. Have you needed to do that?
I haven't even done that yet.
Yeah.
I have. I mean, if you look at the miles on my truck right now, because we've been so busy, we got it in November and we're in mid-April. We have just over 2,000 miles.
Oh, you need to drive more, man.
I work from home and you know, between all the other crazy stuff, we went skiing and then my wife hurt her knee. So we've just been like, you know, navigating that part, but we do want to get it out there more and we will.
Summer's coming.
It is.
You know, there's going to be a lot of opportunities.
Absolutely. Goal there.
So on the flip side, what is one thing you dislike about EV or Rivian in general?
Well, nothing specific about Rivian. It's more EV. So it was that experience that I posted that video on where I had my Rivian was in service, getting the 12-volt battery thing fixed and a few other tweaks. They gave me a Chevy Silverado truck, which had 400-mile range, which was really nice. You still get, even with the 400-mile range, it's the charging network. I do like, and it was one thing I definitely learned on that video or living it, is that Rivian and Tesla both put a lot of money and resources into the charging network. That's so critical for when you're out there adventuring. It's so important. So that's definitely the things that are kind of the drawbacks. Even with that 400-mile range one, you still are like, at the end of the day, once you start to draw it down, you're like, I got to charge this thing.
Yeah.
And so it's navigating that part of it that was kind of new in a way, versus in contrast, like that 88-mile range Chevy Spark EV, you kind of knew ahead of time, like, I don't have a ton of miles I can go, but like you knew you were actively planning it. Where the 400-mile range, I wasn't actively planning. I was very happy with it till it started to get low, and then I got nervous.
Yeah.
This one's like 260, I think, in that range. So, yeah, that's kind of the draw. Like, you know, the technology is going to get better and everything else, but yeah.
Yeah. Did that Spark EV support DC fast charging, or it was only?
I think that was before. Yeah. I was an early adopter. I think that was like in 2012 or something. It was, or 13, something like that.
So you took the Silverado to Las Vegas on a road trip. You were getting low, so you did eventually find a place to charge?
The trick, and so anyone going to Vegas, the trick is finding a parking lot that has a charger in it. Because here's what you're going to battle with. If you find a fast charger, you have to babysit it for an hour.
Yeah, because it's you get the 400-mile range, but the battery is massive.
It's massive. So you have to babysit that thing for a couple of hours probably. Or you're going to get penalized for staying on the charger too long. If you just let it sit there and go, you know, forget it, I'll pick it up the next day.
The next day.
Yeah, you're gonna feel that. So that's a problem. So what I did is I found a trickle charge, if you will, something that was on the low end of the scale in a parking lot that was secured. And so what we did is we parked it there, my buddy and I, and we just left it there overnight. I came back to pick it up the next day. It was fully charged. I didn't have to babysit it. We could go out, still have fun. But we did have to, interestingly, we had to Uber from there to the hotel while it's charging. So it's the logistics of that actually kind of wake up, you know, those ideas.
Yeah,
you
because
didn't
that
think about.
parking was not close enough to where you were staying.
Exactly. And I could not find a lot of, and another thing, anybody going to Vegas, a lot of the casinos say, oh yeah, we have charging. We couldn't, they were like not
Full.
there. Well, I didn't even see them.
You know,
and I
yeah,
asked.
in many of the parking lots of the hotels, I could only find them when I'm walking into the lobby, but I could never figure out, like, how do I get there?
That's the thing. I could never figure out how to get there. They weren't there, or some of the casinos like, yeah, they used to have them, they don't have them now. And I was getting a wide spectrum. And then as you kind of move out from the strip and you look at other surrounding areas, you'll feel like there was a Target, there's a few others, but they were fully like slammed. People were in there. The charging, some of the units were broken. So it became real nerve-wracking until I found that one solution. But that's definitely a good one.
So the final question that I always ask, and it's kind of like a curveball, sort of, because but let's say you have an unlimited budget. There is no budget, and you're in a market for another vehicle. No budget. Let's say you won the lotto. What vehicle would you pick? Another Supra.
Yeah, Fast and the Furious series. No, if I had no budget, it's funny, when I was younger-ish, I wanted I really liked Lamborghinis. You know, just like, I don't know, what car guy didn't necessarily like that. But it's funny, I went to Speed Vegas. I got to get off the Vegas train here eventually. But I went to Vegas, to Speed Vegas, and I test drove a Lamborghini, and I found it very aggressive when shifting. It wasn't elegant. The Ferrari was really nice. If I had the opportunity, probably would be like a classic Ferrari. And I couldn't even tell you which one. Not the Tom Selleck one.
Which decade? Testarossa?
Yeah, like a Testarossa. That would be a nice one. So
that's in like the 70s, 80s?
That's in 80s. Yeah, that's a Miami Vice one.
Testarossas are nice.
Yeah. That'd be cool. I would like that.
What is appealing to you? The looks,
Well, I think it's the speed, the looks, the craftsmanship. Like that's like I said, when I went to Speed Vegas and I test drove two vehicles, a Lamborghini and a Ferrari.
Do you remember which one?
I don't remember. It was like the numbers now just kind of blur.
Yeah.
But just the difference, you could just feel the difference in the craftsmanship, and just the Ferrari just was so smooth. Like everything, you can tell they build that car for a driver. Where the Lamborghini, I think it's more about the bombastic, just loud engine, heavy torque, no elegance, just like a bull.
Interesting.
Just like reflects the logo.
That's interesting, man. So not an EV, but you're going back to gas.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I would. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would. Well, like I said, that would be in the garage with the Rivian.
Yeah. You could just tow it. You could just tow it with the Rivian, exactly. And yeah. Thank you, Kobe, for taking the time on doing 100%. This video with me. I'll put his channel link and everything in the video description. Make sure you check out his channel. Very cool stuff. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And we'll see you on the next one.
It helps. Thanks, everybody.